Hello, my name is Marcella Thompson, and I run a community based organization here in Durham called the Mustard Seed Project. I am a woman that grew up in segregation. My grandparents were sharecroppers, and we know about the oppressive things that happened. Kamala Harris is not going to go back, she's going to move us forward. It is very important for Black children, and I call everybody a child because I'm almost 70 years old, to understand that if they don't vote, if they don't take part in the gift that many, many people gave their lives for, it is going to be a crime. It used to be that back in Reconstruction, Black people who had a piece of land and could earn their living and do these things because of hate, they were persecuted. That went into the civil rights era, of which I was a child, 11 years old, passing out handbills and flyers, working in the process. Now, many people were lynched just because they wanted to vote, to earn the right to vote. My aunt told me of a time when she went to get a pound of sugar and a pound of coffee, and it cost 5 cents a pound, believe it or not. She went to the general store and walked in, and the store owner was covered in blood. "What do you want, gal?" he said. And she was a frightened 9-year-old girl. And "I want a pound of coffee and I want a pound of sugar." He hastily got the pound of sugar and the pound of coffee and threw it across the counter to her. She ran all the way back home and told her dad. My grandfather said, "You don't tell anybody this, what you saw." This is a situation that happened. This Black man decided that he wanted to vote, to register to vote. They got him in the middle of the night from his home. They beat him and carried him all through the neighborhood screaming. They took him and they lynched him with a chain. Then they cut off souvenirs of his body, and then they set him on fire. For 5 days, the family was not allowed to claim his body as a message to all the people: you will not vote. You will not try to vote. Now, that is a very gruesome and horrible tale. But there also were the poll taxes. And most of the time, for a Black man to vote, because women didn't vote back then, he had to pay almost half of his income. So that meant you ate a lot of beans and sorghum and bread for the right to vote. Then there were the literacy tests. There were tests that were given where you didn't have material to study, and you were never told what you missed. Some people would take the test and memorize the answers so that they could study. Thurgood Marshall was a young lawyer, and he came to Danville, Virginia, and he stood in line with the people who were taking the literacy test. When this young woman had taken the test, and the clerk said, "You didn't pass," Thurgood Marshall stepped up and he said, "Well, I am Thurgood Marshall and I'm a civil rights attorney. I want to know what she missed." This flustered clerk went to get her supervisor, and the supervisor came and said, "Well, what's the problem here?" The problem was that we want to know what she missed on the test because we were told she didn't pass. They looked at each other. He looked at the test and he said, "Oh, it must have been some kind of error. That gal passed." This is what people had to go through to vote. Young people, I have two grandchildren, but all of you are my grandchildren. I want you to use your right, use your gift that people have died and suffered so that you would be able to go and vote. If you do nothing else, use your right. A lot of you tell me, well, I don't agree with either one of them. Well, this is the fact. And life is this way. You take this candidate over here, and you take this candidate over there. And you think about your life and what you need. And then you choose the lesser of the two evils. But please choose, make a choice that is positive, and that's going to be good for your life. Kamala Harris is somebody that knows what a gallon of milk costs. She knows how hard it is when your mother has to work two jobs just so that you can have a better life. Understand that you are on the shoulders of powerful people, and you need to make a future for yourselves and for your children. If you do nothing else, vote on Tuesday and vote for Kamala Harris.